In today's political climate, it's more important than ever to have an array of different faces on the runway. Today, we're taking a second to catch up with some designers who are pioneering diversity at New York Fashion Week. We are here with Becca McCarran, who is the founder and designer of Chromat. How did you get into designing? A lot of your designs are also like super architectural.
I studied architecture and I worked in architecture for many years before kind of starting to experiment on a smaller scale, the body. But for me, the process is the same, thinking about materials and connections and different intersections.
So tell us about your first New York Fashion Week season.
Actually, that was a crazy show because Beyonce had just performed at the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
in stuff that we had made like 2 days before our runway show. So it was a crazy
incredible.
time. Yeah. The first show we ever did, it was all of my friends from, nightlife and from other artists that modeled, and naturally that was like a diverse group of people.
Yeah. So you've kind of like become the poster child of like inclusive runway. Was that something that you like intended to do?
For me, the weird thing is people who choose to only design one size. I've always thought about designing garments for myself and my friends, and so everyone has a different body, and that's what we want to see reflected on the runway. I'm happy that diversity and inclusivity is what people know us by, and that's like what the stories continually reinforce as a positive thing about what we're doing. Who you see on the runway is who kind of the fashion industry deems as beautiful, who's being celebrated, who's not, who's invisible.
Can you give us a little rundown of like your casting process?
We have a pre-casting, it's like an open casting call where anyone can come, they do a walk, and we really look for, when we're casting, we look for a strong stomp. Like you have to be able to like walk with confidence. You can't like look down, look shy, like you have to like storm the runway. Me wanting to highlight trans women, I've pulled from, people in my community, people I know from nightlife, but also like if we were just casting from agencies, you kind of have to seek out people that aren't necessarily in the agencies. Right. So it takes a little bit more work to continually cast in a diverse way, and we do seek people out to walk in our shows.
Yeah, very cool. We actually did an interview earlier this year on a trans modeling agency in New York. It's like one of 3 in the entire country.
I think it's so amazing, and I think, that's like the other half of the battle is not only do fashion designers like need to recognize that they need to be more inclusive in their runways because it's so important for representation, but also the agencies have to be representing more like women of all races, women of all abilities. There's just not even representation in the agency to begin with, so.
Totally.
Yeah, there's a lot of hopefully work being done.
I guess people don't really think about this that often because fashion is predominantly thought of as like a female market, but really a lot of the head designers at these like upper houses are male. Why do you think there's such a presence of men at the top in an industry that's obviously predominantly female?
Yeah, I've always thought that was weird. Like, it's so weird that so many men are deciding how we look and how we feel about our bodies. I've always found that very odd. I guess for me, like, why does that happen? It just comes down to like the patriarchy and who has held power the longest and who is in control, who owns those houses, like who owns Gucci, who owns, these big companies. It's men, men are on the boards. And so that kind of history it influences everything that happens today. But I mean, there's tons of women designers out there like making their own labels and not needing those like Gucci backers. And so it's really exciting to be here in New York where I'm surrounded by amazing women doing their thing.
Yeah, so true. I feel like it's such a parallel to the music industry. Like before, everyone needed a label to like back them, and now everyone's just doing things independently. So tell us a little bit about the performances. What inspired you to do an opening act in the beginning?
The performer is unique. She always brings the hype and brings the energy. She like brought the energy up so high at the beginning of our show, so everyone was really ready for the looks.
Love that.
You did a voguing class, right?
I did, yeah.
You can dance next time.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, I learned like the basics of voguing, which was so fun. So at the show, you were giving out Planned Parenthood pins, and you closed the show with the song "Fuck Donald Trump." Why do you think it's so important that fashion play a role in politics right now?
I guess for me as a fashion designer, I don't feel like I have a choice anymore. I feel like to remain silent right now when so many people are being persecuted is to remain on the side of the oppressor, and I just could never take that stance.
I personally feel like whether it's Fashion Week or award season, We're seeing fashion in Hollywood really respond in a very vocal way about their feelings towards our political climate right now. And it's really nice to see all of these things being echoed in New York Fashion Week by designers, because at the end of the day, like, everyone's voice does matter. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I want to know what you guys think about fashion's role in representation in the comments below. And don't forget to check out more Hannahgrams here.